Has anyone heard of Shark Tank? Okay, hands down, hands down. It's a really intense TV show where you go on it and you share your idea, you pitch your idea, and there's a panel of sharks who are people, not real sharks, and they ask you questions, and I'm going to stop talking because you can have a look at it and see what it's like and see what you think. And I want you to imagine if one of your ideas could end up on that show, how you would feel.
To face the Sharks tonight, a pair of Perth boys with a saucy proposition. Done.
Oh, beautiful. Excellent.
Great arancini balls for lunch.
Wow.
Now, we're very lucky because the star of that show, Nathan, is here with us this morning. Can we give Nathan a round of applause?
Hi guys. Hello. So has anyone seen that show on TV? Yes? Do you like watching it? Yeah, it's fun. So if you like those sort of shows, there was what? Sharks. Oh yeah, gotta watch out for those sharks. So it was good fun, like doing it on TV. And when you're in business, like I am, and if you get the opportunity to go on a show like that, it's an amazing opportunity because it means that you can show everyone what you do. And marketing is a huge part of being in business. And when you get to be on TV, it's fantastic exposure. So it was really scary. It was really, really scary being on it, but it was good fun at the same time. So, as you know, my name's Nathan, and I am that little guy's down there, his dad, Felix, in year 6. That's the most important part of who I am. But I'm also own Tommy Sugo and a couple of other businesses. And although it sounds a little bit funny, I am an entrepreneur. Sounds a bit weird when you say it yourself, but yes, I guess I am. So what we're talking about coming up, what you guys are going to be involved in is Entrepreneur Week and have some really cool, amazing opportunities to create your own business, which I just love doing. I find that sort of thing so much fun. So an entrepreneur is someone who's in business to make a profit. Does anyone know what profit means? No? No? And shout it out. Who knows what profit means? Money, exactly. We're in business to make these things, or hopefully a little bit more than that. So that's what an entrepreneur does. They look for opportunities and find opportunities anywhere they can, and they turn it into a business, and they hope to make it profitable, but also, of course, bring value to people. And when you're in business, if you do bring value, then that's the number one thing you have to do. You have to be of service to others, be useful to others, and then you get paid or rewarded for what you do. So there's lots of different reasons people go into business. In life you have two options. You have lots of options, but related to work, you can either get a job or you can go into business for yourself. And there's lots of different reasons people do either, but for me, the reason I went into business was because of that ugly looking thing up there. What is that? A potato. So funny enough, that was the reason why I originally started in business. Isn't that weird? A potato? A potato made me go into business? How weird's that? So that was the reason that I started my business. And at 6 years old, that ugly looking thing up there made me go into business. And the reason was because when I was 6, I was eating a lot of those every night because my family didn't have much money and potatoes were really cheap. So we got served potatoes every night. Who likes baked potatoes? Okay. Who would like baked potatoes if you ate it tonight? and then again tomorrow night, and then again the night after, and the night after, and the night after, and yeah? So you get my point. So I was eating these potatoes every night for about 3 months because we didn't have much money. And I got to the stage where I said, at 6 years old, I don't want to eat potatoes anymore. So I went on holidays at school. We had school holidays, and I used to like hanging out with my cousin. And he was 5, I was 6. And he lived on a farm in West Swan, which back a million years ago when I was 6 years old, that farm was in the middle of nowhere. And I used to go and stay there. We stayed there for 7 nights. And I used to like going to my cousin's house for 2 reasons. One was because I liked hanging out with him, we were good friends. And the second reason, I didn't have to eat any potatoes. So I got to hang out with Jerem, my cousin, and we went for 7 days. And I said to him, Jerem, by the end of this 7-day stay, I want to figure out a way that I can make some money so I don't have to eat potatoes again. So I can buy some more food, some different food. So we decided we wanted to make some money. And at 6 years old, we didn't really know how money was made. When I thought of making money, I thought, okay, this is a coin. We actually have to make this, right? As you do. When you're not really trained in business, I thought, okay, how do I make a coin like that? Because this is money, and obviously making money is making one of these things. So we're on the farm in the middle of nowhere in West Swan, and we looked around the farm and we said, we've got to find something that looks like money, because if we can find something that looks like money, maybe we can just adapt it into money, change it into money. And luckily, on the farm, his dad used to like beer, and he had quite a few of these little beer bottles all over the farm and these beer caps. And we said to ourselves, geez, they actually look a lot like a 20-cent coin. What if we could get one of those lids and cut the crinkly bit off around the outside, and then we could probably get a permanent marker and write 20 cents onto it, and then boom, we've made money, right? That's how it goes, yeah? It's obvious at 6 years old. Who's 6 here? Who's 6? Doesn't that make sense to you? See? We knew. So that's what we did. And we looked around the paddock. There wasn't much there. We said, oh, we need a tool so that we can cut that crinkly bit off. We would need to find a tool, but we only had a couple of sticks. That was about it. And then we found some secateurs, you know, those scissors that you cut trees off? Yeah? We thought, oh, maybe we can use those. So we tried to cut the crinkly bits off, and that didn't work. And then 20 minutes later, we said, damn, first business has failed. Can't do it. But being entrepreneurs, even at that age, we said, we've got to persist. Because quite frankly, I don't want to eat another potato. So we thought, business number 2. I said to Jerem, hey Jerem, we've got to come up with another idea. Meet me in the kitchen, we'll have a boardroom table. Get the finest orange juice you can find. Meet me there, and we're going to have a sit down and we're going to talk about how we can make some money, because I ain't going home without money. So we met at the table, and I said, Jerem, what we have to do is try and find out what we're good at. And then maybe if we can find out what we're good at, think about what we're good at, maybe we can turn that into a business. So I said, what are you good at, Jerem? And he said, well, I'm pretty good at kicking a footy, right? I can kick it a long way. And I said, yeah, that's a great skill, but I just can't think how we can make any money out of that one. So I said, what else? And then it struck me. I came up with a genius idea, and it was to do something that I was really, really good at, and I was the best in my class at making paper aeroplanes. Yeah? I could make the finest paper aeroplane. It would go the farthest and the straightest out of all my friends in my class. So I thought, let's bring that to the table. Let's make a business out of something I'm good at. And so that's what we did. We built all sorts of paper aeroplanes. We built green ones, red ones, white ones. We used card. We did little ones. We did big ones. We did different styles, because what I thought was when we got our customers in, we drew on them. That's true. I don't think we did, but that would be a great idea. And when we did it, we did different sizes, because I thought, well, maybe we can upsell our customers. Maybe they can start with a small one and we say, for $1 extra, you can get a bigger one. So we made a whole bunch of them, and we sat out, this is West Swan, and we sat out in the front of the paddock by this road in the middle of nowhere with our table selling paper aeroplanes. So we sat down and we waited for our first customer. And we waited for a little while and nothing happened. And then I said, Jerem, silly me, we've forgotten some very, very crucial part of this business. I said, go into the laundry and into the paddock, gather as many buckets as you can find and bring them back, because we're going to need somewhere to put all the cash. So I said, get at least 6 buckets. He came back with 6 buckets, and he surprised me, came back with a... Yeah, we got big buckets, and he brought a bonus back. He brought a wheelbarrow back. I said, oh, Jerem, this is outstanding. We can put all the cash in the buckets, fill all the buckets up, fill up the wheelbarrow, and we'll be set. No more potatoes for me. So he said, yeah, I had to empty the manure out of the wheelbarrow first, but anyway, we're set. So we sat down and we waited for those customers. And on this country road in the middle of nowhere, we waited. And then we waited. And then we waited again and waited some more. And in the whole 3 hours that we were in business for that day, 2 cars drove past. And they didn't even have the respect or the loveliness to stop and buy some of our aeroplanes. We thought that was very rude. But now, it was a great lesson for us. And every time you're in business and every time you do anything, as long as you learn from it and move forwards, you can put it towards the next business. So you guys are all potentially budding entrepreneurs and business people. Looking at this photo, what would you say was some of the reasons we didn't do too well in that business? Has anyone got some ideas? Yes? Because I'm in the middle of nowhere. Absolutely. And, yep, down the back. That's true, but some other products don't last forever. Food you eat and it's gone, but yeah, good point. Yep. Ah, that's a great idea. Put them out there. Felix? Ah, good point. Yes. So we had cars driving past all the time. Well, I say that. We had 2 cars in the middle of nowhere on the side of the paddock. We had 2 cars drive past, but they probably thought maybe we were just doing this as a hobby. They probably didn't think it was a business. So we had no signs to tell people we were in business, and we had no customers, because as you said, it was in the middle of nowhere, there was no one around. So we learnt really well from that business and we moved on. My next business was in earthworms, and I know you guys have some earthworms at school, and we got some earthworms in at home, and I started breeding them, and they bred and they got very prolific, and then I started selling earthworms, and this was the first business I actually made some real money in, and it was so exciting to make my first $1. That was just the best thing ever. And then after that, I got some jobs. So I worked in Hungry Jack's. Oh, Hungry Jack's. And Red Rooster. I love them too. And I worked in Red Rooster, Hungry Jack's. I worked in... and I worked in a fruit and veg shop, and I got jobs like normal people. So after that, I studied health, and then I went into health shops, and I opened up 3 health shops, and then I made my own vitamin brand, and I sold that all around Australia. So that was fun as well. That was a bit more real. So what I want you to get out of this is that you don't have to stay in one thing for your whole life. You can learn from it and find out what you're passionate about, and whatever you're passionate about, you can take into a business. So year sixes in particular, you guys have that opportunity coming up. Next year, you're going to be exposed to a lot more different things. And it's really important that you try all these things and you find something that you're really passionate about, because passion is success. If you're passionate about something, there's more chances of being successful with it. So just briefly, why do people go into business? I think that was me. I was a little bit crazy. Some people are a little bit crazy bonkers. Some people want to be their own boss. They don't want to be told what to do. They want to do their own thing. Some people are crazy again. We've got this really theme with people in business that are crazy. Some people want to work in their pyjamas. They want to go to work in their underwear. That would be weird. But you can, because business is on your rules. Some people do it because they think they're going to be rich. And sometimes they are, and a lot of times they're not. And sometimes they just see an opportunity. So that's the biggest thing that you can get out of it. So if you see an opportunity, opportunities are all about finding an opportunity, matching a problem that lots of people have with a solution that you can bring. So how do you come up with a business ideas? You're going to have the opportunity to come up with business ideas. And as I say, the better if you can find a solution to a problem, you've got the foundation of an amazing business. The bigger the problem and the better the solution, the more successful your business is probably going to be. So here's a few little ideas of what you can do, but the world, it's completely limitless. You know, lemonade stand, you could do gardening services for friends and family, you can walk dogs, you could wash cars, you can make stuff and sell it, including food. You can gather up all the cans around the place and take those in and get paid for them. You can do plant sitting, so water people's gardens. So there's lots of opportunities, and everywhere you look is an opportunity to potentially make a business. And that's about it. So does anyone have any questions about business? Yes. Well, that's pretty cool. That sounds like a job. Has anyone got some business ideas that they're thinking about? Actually, has anyone even done a business yet and made any money? Yeah? Wow, what have you done? Yep. Nice and loud. Jewellery? Oh, shirts. Fantastic. What have you done? Yep. Sold bracelets? Great. It's great to sell stuff. That's, yeah, Julie? You mow their lawns? Fantastic. That's a great business. Yep, with the red hat.
I haven't done anything, but my dad owns a restaurant and a cafe.
Fantastic. Restaurant and cafe. Nice. Yep, up the back. Yep.
I remember one time I was selling rocks.
Selling rocks. Wow, that's cool. Okay, so you got the idea. So what you got to do is think about one sort of a business that you can bring to the school, and then coming up to Entrepreneurial Week, you'll get the opportunity to put that into practice. Okay. So thanks everyone for listening to me. I hope we see you very soon in business out there and doing really, really well. Thanks, guys.